Hey everyone, welcome to MSP Inspired Dev2Be. Today we have Nandini, the host of Dev2Be, and Salman MKC. Well, there's a casual change of host today. I'm hosting instead of Salman. So hey, without any further ado, I'll just hand over to Nandini. Hey Nandini.
Hey everyone. Hey Sundar. Thank you for introducing me. And without any adieus, I would actually tell you about Dev2Be and the first guest of Dev2Be is Jasmine Greenaway. And talking about Dev2Be is something that we always wanted in our lives to have guiding it's something that we can get guidance from and something that we can learn from. Every developer has their own stories, but there are few stories that we can actually relate to. We can just relate our lives to them, and we actually aspire to be someone at that position and someone who knows that much and who is contributing to the society to that level. So yeah, they have to be something that we learn from various extraordinary developers.
Sure.
And yeah, and yes, so coming on to Jasmine Greenaway, she is absolutely amazing. She was the major fact about it, that she is a gamer and she is absolutely amazing personality. And I guess now Salman should speak about her.
Salman,
Because it's
how
about
excited are
gaming.
you? He is
Because it's
excited. See the smile on him.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. You know, Jasmine's path into tech is actually very similar to mine. So if you've heard my story, it's
Yeah.
very similar, which is so nice and it's relatable to a lot of people, I think.
And
And
she's a
yeah,
gamer. We play a lot of
exactly.
games, and has done her work on RDR2 and GTA 5. So that's the reason I'm mainly excited for it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because we accept Jasmine as a gamer into our community. I'm joking. The gamer community accepts Jasmine. I'm joking. This is a reference to the whole gaming toxic
gaming.
community out there who excludes people from being gamers.
Okay.
And PewDiePie makes that joke, so that's one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So without any further ado, let's start the session and make sure you don't run off data pack that I'm going to. So I'll just start the session and stay tuned and enjoy the session. Thanks you.
Hello, everyone. I am Nandini Sharma, the host of the event Dev2Be. A hearty welcome to all of you to our first session. Jasmine, I am so glad to have you. Dev2Be is a series of events that will take place with an amazing developer every time. These events will be then uploaded on YouTube as an extraordinary telling story of that developer. And today is our first session, our first stream, and so honored to have Jasmine. Jasmine is a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft, and there is so much to know about her and her awesome work and her abundant knowledge. I was actually stalking over her on LinkedIn and the Microsoft website itself, the documentations, and I just could figure out that it's so much is has been done by her, and it's so inspirational. And so, shall we get started, Jasmine?
Absolutely. I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah. Okay. So, the very first question, an interesting one indeed. So, you began your career as a development intern, and did you ever think of ending up at Microsoft as a senior cloud developer?
Yeah, so I think when I started my career, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. My last year in college, I actually realized that I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, and we had our senior capstone final project of the semester, and this person who I'd known for throughout my whole whole time I was in college, he turned to me and he said, hey, listen, I know you're on the UI part of this project. If you do this in .NET, I can be sure that I can help you get an internship. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, oh, this is great. So I was like, absolutely. So I did it in .NET, and he followed up on his promise, and I worked as a part-time intern maybe a few weeks later while I was in college, and went full-time over the summer, went back to part-time to finish my last semester. And yeah, and that's kind of how I ended up at my first role, because after I graduated, I got hired full-time. And at that point, honestly, I didn't even realize that C Sharp. Well, I started on VB.NET and then I went to C Sharp. I didn't realize that it was owned by Microsoft at that point. I just didn't cross my mind. At this point, a lot of my knowledge was like with Java through CS, and yeah. And so once I realized this is at Microsoft, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool to end up at a job where this language was created. And yeah, I was like, that's a goal of mine. I was like, I want to end up here one of these days. And yeah, and yeah, and so I would say yes. So to answer your question, yes, I think Microsoft was always in the back of my mind, but I was always too nervous or anxious about applying. Microsoft is huge. I'll even be noticed, and will people even see my resume? But yeah, but I'm here. So I guess the answer is yes to all those questions.
Wow, that's so great. That's really interesting. So you mentioned in one of the documentations that you are living a hipster dream in Brooklyn, New York. And so what does it takes to live that dream and to be a Microsoft employee? You must have worked so much.
Ooh, yeah, the hipster dream was a little bit of a joke. I live in New York City and I live in Brooklyn, and that is kind of like the stereotype. And I will be completely honest, I do live that stereotype. I am one of those people that will drink kombucha and have my green tea latte and all kinds of stuff, craft stuff, all those stereotypes. But yeah, I think to answer your question, in terms of thinking about your last question, feel like I am living a dream. I get to work from home. I get to work with amazing people. I get to work on things that are really important to me and things I really love. And I get to express myself and do things like this, and and live in one of the greatest cities in the world. And I really I think about things like all that, and how it makes me realize how grateful and thankful I am, and think about where I've come from. So yes, I would answer yes. I'm living a dream, because this was a dream that I thought of when actually, it wasn't the dream I didn't realize I wanted until I got there. So yeah.
And that's so cool. Yeah. Another question. And in knowing about you, in the process of knowing about you, we came across various domains that you have been working on. And then now you're being a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft. So you have been working in so many domains is there any favorites, or how did you get there?
Ooh, gosh. So, so the answer of working in many domains, I would say that we have to keep in mind that, a lot of these companies, they need developers. And, so for example, I ended up at Sears, not really thinking about, they would need a .NET developer. And I think I was on a site, one of the Indeed or something like that, or Glassdoor, and just saw that they needed a .NET developer. And I think a light bulb went off for me. I was like, oh, right, companies need developers. I don't have to just think about software, purely software companies, software as a service companies. There's work to be done at industries like retail. So yeah, and then with that idea, that's how I ended up after after Sears at Rockstar Games, because they needed they needed a .NET dev, and I was like, they need somebody with C# skills. Oh, I could do that. And I applied, not thinking at all that I was going to get that job. I was like, 100 people applied there. There's no way. And, surprise, surprise, I ended up getting a call. So yeah, it's been a really great illuminating way to see how far technology touches like the different industries, and like realizing that there are so many places, there's so many, just corners of different industries that need like that tech presence there.
Yeah, that's that's actually great. We have that question waiting. So, being the co-organizer of BrooklynJS, it's a meetup as I read, and it's like a monthly meetup, and you have been organizing it, and I have just started organizing these events as well. So I've been just a part of MSP. So would you like to tell how it influenced your career and how you grew with that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a really good story with that. So I moved to New York City in 2015, and with .NET at that time, the huge thing was like MVC, and with .NET, with ASP.NET, with all these, the scaffolds and all the stuff, like that's how I got introduced to JavaScript because of jQuery. Now in the past, developers at that point, and this is like maybe, so in like maybe like 2010, 2011, like folks were, kind of had like a little negative feedback about JavaScript, and jQuery came out and like I feel like really changed that idea for a lot of people. People, I know that people like say that jQuery is outdated nowadays, but like I still love it, and because it just paved the way for so much that we see today. Anyway, but I also wanted deeper knowledge in JavaScript, so I ended up going to BrooklynJS. Like I got on tech Twitter and saw that BrooklynJS was happening, and I joined, and I really found an amazing community there. And it's really strengthening my skills as a developer because I learned so much, and I also found these amazing people, and also ended up being able to like join, make friends, while being new in the city, and then also be able to like, fill out those professional skills, and also be able to help build the community by being an organizer. So yeah, it's been a really great experience.
You have been a multitasker, like you have been a multitasker and you have had interest everywhere. That's so awesome. That's really cool. So yeah, another interest. So I just read that being you are a professor at LaGuardia Community College. So how was your experience? How is your experience as a teacher, and how things have changed after it's been 3 years that you have been a professor at that college. So how things have been with that?
Yeah, so it was always something that I've always wanted to try. And, I am one of those people who is like, I had to go to college to be able to like get a degree. I'm like one of those people that I just need somebody to sit down in front of me and give me like really good structure, and, for me to learn something. So, like you should see, like I have like a work notebook that's like full of like just notes. I just need structure to be able to do my things properly. And, so that's what really attracted me to going to teach at at LaGuardia. And I ended up, teaching, and like, so I got there, and, they were talking about how, they kind of wanted to give this specific course a little bit of a facelift, and they wanted me to introduce some more like newer concepts, and and like one of the things that attracted them to about me was that I had experience as a developer as a developer in the real world, and some points in some situations, professors, at least in the past, like, professors that I've had in university, maybe they've kind of been out of touch for a few years because they haven't been, around. And one of the amazing things about being an adjunct professor is that you get to, kind of have, whatever you have going on. And then, being an adjunct professor is mostly part-time. So I get to, still work in industry, and then also like be able to share that knowledge with my students. And so the first semester was hard. I think it was a really big learning experience for me, thinking about like, teaching folks who have never learned how to code, keyboard shortcuts, showing them how to think, critical thinking. That's a really important part. Like, how do you set up your if statements properly so that, your code logic, the logic of like whatever you're trying to build is like good. And so I spent a lot of time after that first semester like redoing everything and like really thinking, putting myself in the shoes of a student. And now I feel like I've really gotten to a really good place with that, you know, especially like thinking about my experience as a student, thinking my experience as a dev. So, thinking about we all, a lot of us, a lot of us learn how to code from looking at other people's code. And so like we try to do that in class. So we analyze some code together and we talk about what it's doing. We look at real world examples, like what happens when you press a button? That's probably JavaScript. When you log into somewhere, like, it's, on the web, it's probably JavaScript. So we talk about like that's those steps. And I think, yeah, it's a really fulfilling experience, and to the point where I believe that I would want to retire as a professor, because I'm one of those people that believes that like whatever like the universe or whatever positive things that are coming your way, it's important that you give it back to the world. And I think that, I'll probably have like 30, 40 years of experience by the time I retire. So I want to be able to give everything that I've learned about my career back, so that everyone else can, benefit from that. This is how we're going to grow as a society. And, I just don't want to be one of those people that, gatekeeps the industry from folks. So I just think it's so important to share what you learn. So that's also an invitation to everybody else. If somebody asks you, oh, I want to learn how to code, and maybe you don't have the time or the energy to like tell them, everything, just be like, hey, this resource helped me. And it can be there. You can set your boundaries, say, okay, I can't, really mentor you through this, but I can give you this resource. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, this is so thoughtful of you. Like, I'm learning so much already. This is really thoughtful of you that you are putting yourself in the shoes of students, how they would like to know about that particular concept, or how things like this thing that you said, sharing what you have learned. This is awesome. I'm so inspired already.
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah. So another interesting question. So you have so much experience in your pipeline. There are so many companies, so many work experience that you have already had. So there's a debate coming up between developers that employees want a lot of experiences now. What is your opinion onto that?
So like job experience before they get like hired.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real problem. I know that we have all seen the memes where like, like you'll be applying for jobs, you got the degree, and then you look at the just job description, it's like 2 or 3 years experience for a junior role. And you're like, what? I went to school so that I can, like be a junior developer, because I know that's probably where, most tracks of where people start. And I think that the industry is getting better at realizing that that's important. That it's important to think about those things, and think about like that job application, or the the description of applications. For example, one example is GitHub. They do this thing where they don't even ask if you've ever gone to college. Like they don't care if you've gone to college, your application. If you like look at a GitHub application or a GitHub job description, you will not see the asking any requirement for a bachelor's degree. And and that's like you're thinking about like so the ways how so many people learn. It's important again that the topic of gatekeeping is making sure that like people understand that there is a path for them. And I think people are starting to realize that with these applications. And also not even the application process, but also the interview process. Not asking, questions about like a 2x2 matrix. Because honestly, I don't remember that. I remember that maybe in college when I had to, take a test, but I don't remember that now. So I think people are also realizing that like the problems that people want to solve to evaluate, where they will fit on a team, needs to be more tailored and to the actual experience that they would have if they had the job. So I think it's going to take some time, but I think people are waking up to that.
Yeah, that's true. So another coolest thing, like the most coolest thing yet, so that I found in your profile was that you have been credited as AAA quality game. And how did that happen? What was your journey as a gamer? And being a gamer is like awesome. It's commendable. So how did you do?
So, speaking of which, just a side note. So that I think I mentioned this earlier that I have a little background noise here. It's my computer. It's running pretty hot right now, or just running. The fans are running pretty high right now. So I say all that to say is like, yeah, I'm a huge gamer. I've been a gamer since I was a kid. I remember when I beat my first Grand Prix on Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, and I saw the credits roll up. I was like, that'd be so cool if my name was on the credits. And like I said, mentioned before, I applied to this job at Rockstar Games. I saw that my experience fit the description, and I applied, not thinking I was, anything was gonna happen. It took 2 months to get a call. Call back for an interview, and then some more time after that to actually get hired. But that is the reason why I came to New York. I moved for this job. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I ended up there. And I worked at an area in I can't so unfortunately, because the game industry is super very particular, I can't talk too much about the specifics of what I did there, but I can say that a lot of the stuff I did there did directly impact what I was doing, or the just development table of like things that were going on. So but I didn't realize that that meant that my name was going to be in like the credits until one of my old coworkers sent me like a screenshot and was like, yeah, your name's in the credits. And I was like, what? So it was just a really like humbling and amazing experience. Just remember just thinking about that time when I played Mario Kart and then having a similar experience of like my name being there. It was just surreal. And it's really amazing. And I think about it a lot. You're thinking about how far I've come and where I'm going. So yeah.
So that's actually, well, I had this question in my mind because now you have mentioned that it's because of security issues. So I just wanted to ask, what games did you work on? But rather, I would actually ask, did you work on GTA 5? That's a very like that question has been hitting up all the time. Like I need to ask that. That's all. That would be great if I would know.
Well, my name is in the credits in GTA 5. That's a game that my friend told me my name is the credits in. I wish I could upload a photo of it because I have it saved in my phone and I look at it from time to time because I'm just like, wow, I really did it. And there's days that I'm just like, I just forget.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. That's nice. That's literally awesome. And yeah, coming on to the next question, what was the atmosphere there, and how different it is from Microsoft now? They are two different companies.
Oh, so before Microsoft, I was at GitHub, and that was like my first I guess startup experience. And like at that point, at that point, GitHub was not a startup, and this is before the acquisition. And My first job actually was, I guess, pretty much a startup as well. And it actually got acquired. And but I felt like that was even a little not as fast paced as GitHub was. But like larger companies like Sears and Microsoft, they're a little bit slower paced. There's pockets of teams that work really fast, and sometimes even us as like cloud advocates do that, where we have to like kind of like turn around things really quickly. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see that those kind of different things in just the culture of a company. And then, the really cool thing about that is that remember that when we're going through our careers, like we're not only thinking about our technical skills, we're thinking about our adaptable skills as people in the workforce. So time management really was a big one for me because GitHub was my first remote job. And it's different, and I'm sure we're all experiencing this now because we're all working from home. Like, how do I, stop my cat from, walking on my desk? How do I, stop looking at the sink and trying to think I need to wash my plates now because I don't want to debug this thing. So I just think so it's just like all these different challenges, and I would just encourage people to remember that what that in these experiences, just remember the things that you're getting out of it. So, even if it's a difficult conversation with an employee, even if it's, you felt like you didn't get credit for your work, and, how did you handle that? Remember, we are all like people who, like the ways that we react now are just because of the experiences that we've had in the past. So just keep that in mind, and know that like, your career, your school, these, meetings like this, these are shaping you, these are molding you. And, because we're like sponges, like, as, folks who like to build and like to create, we're taking in information all the time. So sometimes we don't even notice, how it affects us. So just keep that in mind.
This is really incredible, the things I'm learning from you, or we are learning from you, the way you actually put your job in your daily life. Like it's awesome. It's incredible. That's great. That's actually how you define yourself as a person. That's commendable, actually, Jasmine. And now that we are actually getting short on time, I want to ask so much, but this question that has been hitting up in my mind, that how have you been so consistent about working, obviously, because you have been working, and then adding skills, and then again working on them, learning, teaching. So how have you been so consistent and hardworking all the time?
Okay, yeah, sure. So before I answer that question, I just want to preface this. Is yes, with yeah, I have my hands in a lot of buckets, and I am just one of those people who just loves to like be into like everything and like multitask. But out of that, I've realized two things. One, that you have to be aware of your own like personal like your own personal exertion. Like are you burning out? You have to start to really think about like are you burning out, and why? And I think one of the big problems that especially in people in tech, and I can only speak for people in tech because that's where I am, is that sometimes we tie our identity in too much to our jobs. And I believe that our jobs and our passions and can merge, but we have to remember that like at the end of the day that we're people. And it's a really great combo to be able to say that you love where you work and you love what you do, and it's in line with the things that you love and care about. So, but remember that your identity does not have to define your job, because in the end, when you do that, what happens is when you don't get the interview, or you don't get the promotion, or or something goes wrong, it affects you negatively. It hurts you because you're like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, it might not even be you. It might have been just something that happened. It could have been some kind of office politics, just things happen. So that's all I want to say. Anyway, but to answer your question, I think that sorry, can you just give me a really quick question? Can you give me that question really quick one more time? Sorry, I just got to go on a rant a little bit.
That's fine, totally fine. So I was asking about how have you been this consistent and hardworking all through this time.
Okay.
There's a
Yes.
breakdown, when you actually feel like why you're doing this, when people are partying, when people are actually, doing different stuff, then you feel like why this passion might be I could enjoy as well. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
part.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think a part of it is really finding what you love. I think one of the things about this role that I really love is that we kind of have enough freedom to kind of decide like how we want our role to like be expressed to like the tech community and internally, and like how we want that to show in our like just growth as professionals. And so I think it's really important that you are doing things that you like. And even if you and I would honestly say that, even if it's something that you don't like, but that you're good at and know that you understand it, I think that's, that you can put that passion into that. So if like, maybe you don't like this code base, but you're really good at problem solving, remember that, you're here to solve a problem, and like you've been hired and, tasked with doing this, specific thing. So I think that, even though you might hate this code base, you want your problem solving skills to shine. It's still like, I would say, when a challenge confronts you, don't back down from a challenge, because it seems hard when you're looking at it, but once you get through it, once you're walking through it, it doesn't seem as bad. And that's like kind of part of the philosophy that I've had, just being in the industry. There have been times where things have been hard. And, you know, to get through it, I have to, you know, mostly ask for help because there's somebody out there that knows. So, you know, if Google failed, or sorry, excuse me, Bing or Google fails me, I can ask, you know, I ask my manager, I ask somebody that I know, you know. So I just think that it's, you know, really important to just, you know, think about what's stopping you from, you know, taking that challenge or doing that thing, and realizing what is going to take, what is that one thing that's going to take you to get to the next, that next step. So so sometimes asking a question, and sometimes it's just doing the thing. So it's really about just identifying what that is.
Wow, that's great. So anything, like, I'm up with my questions now. Anything that you would want to say about this session, about anything? Yeah.
I would just say that, you know, I'm sure you all have seen, you know, what's going on, you know, in the world, and, you know, I'm sure you all have really seen, you know, kind of things that are happening in the U.S. And I would just, you know, just be I know, I just know that, you know, like today, things like now are just, you know, it's really stressful and it's a really hard time for everyone. But just, I would just say, be encouraged, find your support system. You know, you have an entire community here of MSPs. Make, you know, lean on each other. You know, these are, you know, you know, as an adult, you know, I just realized that I graduated from college quite a few years ago. At this point, you know, it's May, so you know, everyone's talking about graduation, and you know, I thought a lot about the relationships that I've, you know, had with friends, and you know, those long-lasting friendships that I made. And honestly, as an adult, I will be one of the many people who are going to say making friends as an adult is hard once you get out of college. So just remember to just hold on to these communities, and you know, don't be shy about reaching out to people. You know, what I read something really important or really interesting the other day, where someone was saying that, you know, the people that stay in your life need something from you, and not like in like a bad way. It's just like they need your attention. You know, they're giving you something. You have some kind of exchange that's keeping you both in contact and consistent communication with each other. And I would just say I would encourage you to grow those relationships, because you know, the support and having those people in your corner is so important, especially at times like this. So, you know, if there's somebody that you haven't reached out into for a while, maybe somebody that you had like a petty argument about, reach out to them. Tell them that you're sorry if it's your fault, or just, you know, just reach out to people and just make sure just you hold the people that you care for close, because and no matter what you do in life, career, anything, a support system is really going to take you far. And like, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have that in place. So that's my parting words.
That's like, all I could, you know, you are amazing as a developer, but as a person, you're so kind, humble, and you know, you're so committed to your work, and courage is itself coming onto that face your code thing. So that's incredible. The person you are, how much I've known you from this interview, it's awesome that I actually, you know, this is happening. This is a dream come true to me. So this was an experience, like amazing experience, Jasmine, and you have set an example about how hard work and consistently chasing your dreams can make anything happen. So yeah, this is actually, I would mention that again, a dream come true for me, you know, hosting this event and having you on the other side. You know, I can see myself, you know, that I could learn from this person so much, so much.
Oh, oh, thank you.
Yes,
This is wonderful
this is
interview.
actually incredible.
Oh, don't make
Okay.
me emotional. Let's wrap up before we start crying.
That's really sweet. So ending this up, to thank you so much, Dawood, Salman, and Sundareshwar as well, because this wasn't possible without you guys and your encouragement and help. And you know, this is actually, I don't know how to say this and how to explain. It's actually very simple. You know, when I'm hosting these events and you know, having such people, such inspirational people on call, and this is actually intimidating. You know, sometimes it's for an ambivert like me, it's sort of intimidating to have such calls, and then I have a mystery community. I have these people on my side and supporting me and actually putting giving my idea a voice. So this is awesome to have you all here, and having you, Jasmine, is actually another, I would say it again, a dream come true. You have taught me a lot today, and I would really thank you for giving this chance to me for making this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
So guys, hope you liked the video. Dev2Be is a series of such events, and we'll be coming up with another amazing video and another interesting story soon. Stay tuned.
Okay, we are back. Okay. Nandini, can you go?
Hey, hello. Am I
Hey.
now live?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're audible. Yes, you're live.
Okay. So I hope everyone got a takeaway from each and everything and every question that we asked. And for the starters, I would like to ask Salman, what did you get from the session, and would you like to speak something about it?
Salman,
you
you're
there?
muted.
You're muted.
Whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie. So yeah, no, me and my little toys, we enjoyed that. That was super amazing. I feel like as I mentioned before, I feel I can relate to Jasmine's story. Having gotten into programming through gaming actually is something she did as well, right? And that's something I super relate to. Yeah, it's incredible.
And so, switching the question to Sundar, what do you think?
I did enjoy because deep in the heart I'm also a gamer, so like listening to a gamer is a big excitement. I never knew before this interview. I never knew. I never digged out Jasmine's profile. When I just saw that she was a programmer at Rockstar, I was so urging. I also did told to Nadine that please ask that is GTA 6 going to when is GTA 6 going to launch? But we didn't have the time. But yes, I took a lot of things like she being a gamer. We can also do this .NET and everything. So.
Yeah.
I did have a great time, and I think the people in the chat were also having a great time. What do you say, Nandini?
I see the reviews. There's lots of chatting going on, and everyone's quite happy about it. I would really want all of you to please comment and subscribe and like and share, and of course tweet about it.
And also feel free to put suggestions like who you want to see next as a developer.
Yes, definitely. And do also put in some questions that you have in mind that you always wanted to ask someone with that much of an experience. Would like to get it answered in the next episode.
And we can see Salman's playing with his teddy bear.
Yeah, he's playing with his duck and his teddy bear.
So we enjoyed it a lot. So thank you so much.
So stay tuned.
Magic spell and go away. We'll see you in the next.
See you in the next tune. And yes, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned because we are soon going to bring a university recruitment team. Do you want to say anything about that, Salman?
Yes. Where is it? So we have the. Oh, it's not showing, is it? Let me amend that. We got the Microsoft University recruitment team coming on. So am I in view yet? Is it? Yeah.
Yes.
Microsoft.com/university. So tune in. Yeah. Ninja cat down there. Gotta have a bit of that ninja cat. Where's my ninja cat stickers? It's over there somewhere. But yeah, enjoy. You can see my my real background now. Oh no, let me go to the bathroom. The change the locker room.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm in the changing room now.
Doing gym.
So yes, thanks for joining everyone, and make sure you subscribe and everything. Stay tuned. We'll be back by this Saturday again, but we'll bring something exciting. So thanks for watching and bye bye.
Thanks guys for watching.
Yeah.
And do reviews, give your reviews and your feedbacks, and that would be really appreciable. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
He's in balloons.